making zone-based management the pathway to adaptive nature management. I work in the state of New York, where dairy is a really important industry. We also have a lot of diversity in the state, about 600 different soil types. As the land-grant university for New York, we are responsible for development of science-based foundational guidance for planning purposes for farms. We need a system that allows farms to do on-farm experimentation, recognizing that measurements are key to making adjustments in management over time, or at least informed adjustments. Yield determination has been the barrier to on-farm research, but with the onset of yield monitoring systems that are now increasingly being used, we have an opportunity. With calibrated yield monitors and post-harvest data cleaning, reliable data can now be obtained on the go at a resolution much higher than we ever were able to do before. Observations for New York was that yield doesn't just vary from area to area within a field, but also from year to year. So relative yield is not the best way to go forward for developing management decisions. Yield stability zones make more sense to take into account that variability over time. We developed a mechanism of turning yield monitor data in accurate annual yield maps and then overlaying those yield maps to generate quadrant maps with quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 different colors depending on yield, whether it's high and consistently high, quadrant 1, or low and consistently low, quadrant 4, or variable in quadrant 2 and 3. The question then became, how do we analyze and determine management per zone? And for that purpose, we developed a new approach. We call it the single strip spatial analysis approach, or the C approach, where we document the relative yield response for each 2 by 2 meter section and evaluate a change in distribution of yield with and without the extra n in our case as the treatment. This is what some of the results would look like for zones on a farm. Zone 1 didn't have enough information, but we have information for zones 2, 3, and 4 for these particular fields. And we see in zone 2 that the plus nitrogen, the dashed line, overlays the solid line, therefore no response to nitrogen. Whereas in zone 4, in this example, there is a clear shift to higher yields with the extra nitrogen. If we would note it up front, we would fertilize zone 4 and we would leave zone 2 alone. This approach also allows us to quantify where the treatment that we're looking at is not impacting the overall yield. In this case, nitrogen did not benefit the yield in any of the zones, which we could have known if we had realized upfront that this field got way too much nitrogen to start with. So another teachable moment for on-farm research. What are our next steps? We're working with farmers now to evaluate zones, to see what makes a difference. Why is zone quadrant 1 different from quadrant 4? So we can try to manage that. And to implement more strips on farms to evaluate all sorts of management alternatives, including cover crops, tillage, manure management decisions, and all of the 4 R's of fertilizer management. Here are some of the peer-reviewed papers from the last couple of years related to the development of this on-farm research approach. And I'll leave you with my email contact on this slide. I'm happy to address any questions that you may have. Thank you very much.